Why is the market getting so euphoric about a potential Ethereum ETF approval? The straightforward answer would be there might be a lot of additional capital from traditional finance flowing into Ethereum, pushing up the Ethereum price, potentially lifting up a lot of other assets. But I think that's only part of the story. Of course, Ethereum will be lifted up by an ETF. It will be easier to access ETF. It will be easier for hedge funds and for family offices and for endowments, etc. to buy Ethereum. That's good. It has a direct impact on Ethereum. But I think the long-term effect, the effects that are rather secondary, they're actually much more important here. The first secondary effect is when we get an Ethereum ETF approval, that means that maybe it won't stop there, right? What would justify that Ethereum gets an ETF approved, but XRP doesn't? Where is the line whether or not an asset should be approved for an ETF or not? Before we had a relatively clean line, right? Bitcoin versus all the rest, and Bitcoin is quite different to other cryptocurrencies. With Ethereum, that cannot necessarily be said, right? Ethereum raised initial funds. The token distribution initially wasn't that fair either. There's still a central group that controls the development. So all of those facts, they speak against an ETF approval. If now it seems like the ETF for Ethereum will get approved at some point, that means that there's a lot of potential for other assets to get ETF approvals as well. I think that secondary effect is actually way stronger than the inflows that happen into Ethereum directly. Now that's another effect. I believe that this Ethereum ETF approval, in case it happens, will push up the altcoins much more than Ethereum itself. And that's, again, because of two reasons. The first reason is that altcoins in general seem to be some kind of levered bet on the market, right? There is less liquidity in an altcoin, so when a lot of attention hits an altcoin, then it tends to outperform just what Bitcoin or Ethereum is doing, right? If you want Ethereum to double, you need way more capital than if you want to have an altcoin double that has only a few $100,000 worth of liquidity. So there's this inherent leverage effect. And of course, when more money enters the market, then the assets with smaller liquidity pools tend to go up more, right? If you're currently holding Ethereum and Ethereum goes up because of that ETF approval, you might take some profit and then get even more risk on with the higher risk assets. That then, of course, pushes up those higher risk assets even more, at least relatively speaking, right? The percentage gains for the altcoins are likely going to be higher than for Ethereum, even though it's the Ethereum ETF approval. The second effect, and that's a bit less obvious, is that a lot of altcoins are actually directly coupled to the Ethereum price. So when you go to a decentralized exchange, right, and you buy an altcoin, you're not buying this against an order book, against Tether or USDC, against a stablecoin. You're actually buying this in a liquidity pool versus wrapped Ethereum most of the time. So a lot of the liquidity of altcoins are against wrapped Ethereum. Or in other words, the altcoin is priced in wrapped Ethereum. So the price of an altcoin is determined by the relationship between wrapped Ethereum and the altcoin. How many wrapped Ethereum are in the liquidity pool? How many altcoins are in that liquidity pool? And the ratio between the two determines the price. And so when altcoins are priced in wrapped Ethereum, that in turn means when the US dollar price of wrapped Ethereum goes up by, say, 10%, the altcoin automatically also goes up by 10%. If the ratio, of course, between the altcoins and the wrapped Ethereum in the liquidity pool doesn't change. So the altcoins move automatically, directly with Ethereum. When Ethereum goes up in US dollars, then the altcoins go up in US dollars to the same degree.
This needs to go to 1 million or March buyers now will make millions. This is how you get the clicks on YouTube, but this is not how you beat the market. To beat the market in crypto, you need to be better informed than the rest. You need to be better skilled than the rest. You need to do better blockchain analytics. You need to track other people's wallets and know what is the smart money doing. It's the boring educational content that forms skill that doesn't perform so well on YouTube though. That's why I created the premium membership. Feel free to check it out. We are tracking influencer wallets to find out what they are buying before promoting this on YouTube. We've got a lot of tutorials to help with on-chain analytics, to help with wallet discovery. And of course, there are also plenty of chats where we help each other and also one-on-one conversations with me. So I'm messaging every premium member one-on-one directly. Once you're joining, you will get a message from me and you have the opportunity to directly pick my brain. Feel free to check it out. thebitcointrader.com, link is down below.
Now we can also mathematically look at this. We can look at the correlation coefficients between various altcoins and Bitcoin, and various altcoins and Ethereum. Now what we notice is that mathematically speaking, the altcoins tend to move much more in tandem with Ethereum than they do with Bitcoin. So a lot of people say that Bitcoin is leading the market, right? When Bitcoin goes up, then Ethereum and the altcoins, everything goes up. But what actually happens is that the altcoins are much more led by the Ethereum price, not by the Bitcoin price. So the Ethereum ETF approval, in my opinion, will have a large, broad impact on the entire crypto space, and it will benefit the altcoins even more than Ethereum itself. It will definitely benefit the altcoins more than Bitcoin, of course, because now Bitcoin has a competitor in the ETF space. But the altcoins have all of those positive moves for them, right? They already go up directly with Ethereum. They're elaborate play on Ethereum. And there's now the outlook that the ETF approval for other altcoins is coming up at some point as well. So the movements we currently see are probably not pricing in all of those potential positive effects going forward. A lot of people just look straight towards Ethereum. They think, okay, capital might be flowing from traditional finance into Ethereum in a similar fashion how they moved into Bitcoin. But I think that's actually the smallest of the effects. Most of the impact of that decision of the Ethereum ETF approval will be secondary, and it will be in the small caps. If Bloomberg is right, if the rumors are somewhat right, and the ETF approval happens at some point, then it does make sense not to just be invested in Ethereum. It makes way more sense, if you can digest the risk, of course, to go very heavy into altcoins as well, especially in the altcoins that have a lot of support behind them, where maybe other influencers are buying them, potentially pushing them up. In YouTube, right? Crypto is a game of attention, so you always want to be in when attention is low, and you want to anticipate attention, then sell on peak attention. So when somebody, a large influencer, makes a YouTube video about a cryptocurrency, that's when you want to sell. That's not when you want to buy. A lot of people actually make that mistake. So we are trying in premium, right? So a little plug here. We are trying in premium to actually find out what are influencers going to promote in the future. So we track their wallets, we figure out what are they buying. If they already talked about this token in the past, if they haven't, then we tend to buy with them. And then we hope at some point that the influencer will promote it on YouTube, create a lot of attention. With a lot of attention comes a higher price. That's then when we tend to sell. So especially if the market is going to expand from here again, especially when a lot of money flows into Ethereum directly, then I do think that those altcoin pushes that happen due to various promotions will be even larger. So in a bear market, nobody is interested in very risky assets, right? Nobody wants to buy a random altcoin because altcoins are inherently, most of the time, underperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's in most cases, right? Most of the time, because there's a lot of token inflation. But some altcoins sometimes outperform massively, and finding those spots in the market is super, super valuable. And of course, the outperformances will be even larger as there is more money flowing in, and as new ETFs get approved, and as the altcoins are smaller and smaller, have more and more inherent leverage. So looking forward to seeing you in the free Telegram down below. Also looking forward to seeing you in premium. If you're interested in that, feel free to give this a like and feel free to subscribe as well. See you next time. Cheers.